Hey everyone, my name is Big Boy Snatch on TV, aka Wakanda Snatch One, because I got playing around. As you can tell by the title of the video, this is my WWE Raw review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for my rest of content that I do on the channel. Follow all my social media down below in the description. And go check out my AEW Double or Nothing review on highlights. And also go check out my WWE Saturday Night's Main Event review on highlights on the channel that I did. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, WWE Raw was a good show, and I had to give it a 7 out of 10. WWE Raw was live from Columbus, Ohio, Valley City Arena at the Scottish Center. Commentary tonight with Michael Cole and Corey Graves. It says, then, now, forever together. The WWE video leads us to the show. We go live in the Value City Arena at the Scottish Center. WWE Hall of Famer Paul Heyman is in the ring and pacing around. Paul Heyman introduced himself. Paul Heyman says he has to get this part out of the way and says, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw." He is here tonight to hype them on a match that needs no hype. This Sunday, the biggest rematch, not just in WWE history, but in all of professional wrestling. Paul Heyman is cut off by an over family chant. Paul Heyman says when he has a microphone in his hand, they have to shut up. This Sunday at Clash in Italy, Over Family steps into the ring to be conquered by the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar. Video package: Brock Lesnar says he didn't get to congratulate Over Family on beating him at WrestleMania, but that victory will cost him more than he can imagine. Brock Lesnar has had his share of his whoopings through the years, but the one he got from Over Family made him think that he's done. That doesn't sit well with Brock Lesnar. It's not going to end that way. Brock Lesnar can take his whooping, but can Over Family. Highlights are showing of Brock Lesnar's surprise return and attack Over Family last week on Raw. Over Family will get his kicked by the humble retired Beast, and Connor Brock Lesnar will conquer Over Family. Brock Lesnar says, I am gonna rule over Family. Paul Heyman says the good news is that everyone watching will have a chance this Sunday to see history play out in real time in front of their very eyes. That bad news for everyone. It says that bad. What was that? It says right here. It says what was I? It says the bad news. It says right here. It says I found it. It says Brock Lesnar will conquer Over Family. Brock Lesnar says I am gonna rule over Family. I already read that part. It says Paul Heyman says the good news is that everyone watching will have a chance this Sunday to see history play out in real time in front of their very eyes. The bad news for everyone who worship Over Family is that he has awakened the Beast. Breaking the Beast. Paul Heyman shows that 3 times. That means one thing. Over Family music hits. The ruler of Over Family comes out to the stage and stares down at the ring. Over Family then starts his strut and heads to the ring. Over Family grabs a microphone and Paul Heyman looks nervous. Over Family intimidates him into the corner. Over Family asks Paul Heyman what he thinks Brock Lesnar has awoken in himself. What does he think 4 F5s have awoken in Over Family? Paul Heyman begs him off and says he's just an advocate. Over Family says he needs Paul Heyman alive and well to tell the tale of Brock Lesnar. When he tells the story, he'll fast forward to the end, which is Over Family's favorite part, where he retires Brock Lesnar a second time. Paul Heyman will tell him it's just business, not personal. But 4 out of 5 seems very personal to him. While Paul Heyman tells that story, this is the final chapter. Obafemi holds up the contract for their match at Clash in Italy and press it against Paul Heyman's chest to sign it. Obafemi says the last time he fought Brock Lesnar, he was trying to beat him. This time, he's fighting to kill him. Obafemi walks off as Paul Heyman looks terrified. Alright, that was a good segment. That was a good segment right there. Video package highlights are shown from this weekend Saturday night's main event. Pre-show arrivals. World Champion Roman Reigns is arriving at the arena earlier today. It's his birthday, but he swats away a gift from a stagehand. Jacob Fatu is also in the building. Triple A General Manager Rey Mysterio is also in attendance. The Judgment Day is shown walking in. WWE Intercontinental Champion Penta makes his entrance. He put the title on the line against Giovanni next. Commercial break. Alicia Taylor does the ring announcement once both men are in the ring. So we get the first match. Right here. WWE Intercontinental Championship match. Penta versus Giovanni. This was a very good match. This was a very good match right here. I'd take a sip more, but this was a very good match right here. The bell rings and Giovanni shake the ropes to get the crowd going. They shake hands and circle the ring. Giovanni goes for an OG cutter, but Penta holds him up. Penta pushes him into the ropes. Giovanni hits a running hurricanrana and hits the ropes. Penta hits a hurricanrana, but Giovanni lands on his feet. Penta punches away at him before chopping him against the ropes. Giovanni sends Penta into the ropes and trips him. Penta trips Giovanni and they're at a stalemate. Giovanni and Penta do a friendly handshake before Giovanni drop kicks him. Giovanni takes him out with the head scissors. Take over. Sending Penta out of the ring. Giovanni hits a huge dive to the floor and gets Penta in the ring. Giovanni goes for a springboard, but Penta super kicks him out of midair. Penta knocks him into the corner and hits a handstand slingshot corner drop kick for a 2 count. Penta closes Giovanni's back and sets up for a Penta driver, but Giovanni counters with an arm drag. Giovanni fights back with a red dot kick to the head, knocking Penta out of the ring. Giovanni hits the ropes for a suicide dive, but Penta grabs him and uses his momentum to drive him into the edge of the commentary table. Wow. So we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Giovanni picks up a 2 count over Penta. Replays are showing of the devastating counter to the suicide dive. During the commercial break, Giovanni hit Penta with a dive into the timekeeper's area. Moments before coming back, Giovanni hits a springboard clothesline. They trade chops and Penta floors Giovanni. Giovanni slowly gets up and hits a bazooka knee, followed by the OG cutter 1-2. Penta kicks out. Giovanni goes for a springboard head scissors, but Penta counters with a powerbomb into a double knee backbreaker for a near fall. Penta gets the crowd going and signals for the Mexican Destroyer. Giovanni super kicks Penta, knocking him to the apron. The crowd chants, "This is awesome." Giovanni grabs Penta and punches him. Giovanni backs up and hits an OG cutter on the apron. Giovanni holds his injured back in pain before getting Penta into the ring. 1-2, Penta kicks out. Giovanni gets to his feet and gets the crowd going. Giovanni goes for a springboard maneuver, but Penta grabs him and hits a Penta driver for a near fall. Penta slowly heads to the top rope, but Giovanni cuts him off with a right hand. Giovanni climbs the ropes, but Penta punches him down. Giovanni scales the ropes, and they are standing there for a moment. Giovanni hits a wild super hurricanrana. Giovanni size him up and goes for an OG cutter, but Penta super kicks him out of midair. Penta sets up for a Mexican Destroyer, but Giovanni hits a bazooka knee. Giovanni goes for an OG cutter, but Penta hits a backstabber. Penta gets to his feet and hits a Mexican Destroyer 1, 2, 3. The winner by pinfall is still your WWE Intercontinental Champion Penta. This was a good match between Penta and Javon Evans. Penta celebrates with the title and helps Javon Evans to his feet. Penta raised Javon Evans' arm, but Javon Evans pulls away and angrily walks off. The commentary runs down the events for this weekend as we head into the WWE Clash in Italy. Michael Cole announces that Logan Paul suffered a torn tricep and will be out of action for months. Video package. Video is showing of Angelo Dawkins hitting Logan Paul with a somersault senton at WWE Saturday Night's main event, tearing his biceps in the process. The Vision's locker room. Paul Heyman is looking at the Brock Lesnar versus Oprah Femi when he digests, looking Austin Theory walking in. Austin Theory hands him the World Tag Team Champions, and Paul Heyman asks what he's doing. Austin Theory says Logan Paul is injured. Paul Heyman says he has an airy contract that any combination of the Vision can defeat the tag team titles. Well, can't defend the tag team titles. Austin Theory will now be champion with Braun Breaker. Austin Theory hugs Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman says he believes in Theory and did this for him. Austin Theory wants to do something for Logan Paul. Heard everyone involved with taking him out. Paul Heyman says Austin Theory knows what he has to do tonight. And to Horn. So we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Joe Hendry is in the ring singing his popular Can We Fire Logan Paul song. The crowd loudly sings it on their own. Joe Hendry then sings it with them. All of a sudden, Austin Theory attacks Joe Hendry with a steel chair. They eventually beat Joe Hendry with the steel chair and warns him to keep Logan Paul's name out of his mouth. Joe Hendry crawls over the ropes, and Joe Hendry smashes him in the face with a chair. Joe Hendry is unconsciously. WWE officials run out to help. I take a sip of my water. But anyway, backstage segment. Angelo Dawkins is walking backstage when Seth Rollins walks up to him. Seth Rollins says he's not trying to start anything. He did exactly what Montez Ford wanted and stay out of their way. Will stay out of their business. Seth Rollins knows what it's like to be screwed by the Vision. They have an opportunity to put an end to the Vision. Now that Logan Paul is gone, Montez Ford walks up and says nothing good happens when Seth Rollins is around. Seth Rollins says nothing good happens when he's not around. Otherwise, they'll be standing here as a tag team champions right now. They don't have to like each other when this is over. They don't have to be friends. All they have to do is work together to eliminate the Vision. This whole idea that nothing good happens with Seth Rollins, but only one of them has main evented WrestleMania, and is a multi-time world champion. It's not Ford. Ford says he never stabbed his brother in the back because he is his brother's keeper. Montez Ford wants to show Seth Rollins who is the best. Seth Rollins asks if that's a challenge and accepts. Next week on Raw. Next week Raw will be live in Turin, Italy, with the start time of 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Video package. Rey Mysterio narrates a video about the Mask versus Mask match at AAA this weekend. Backstage segment. Javon Evans is walking backstage when WWE Intercontinental Champion Penta walks up to him. Javon Evans apologizes and doesn't mean to disrespect him. Javon Evans will see him again for the title. Penta is a great champion. They shake hands and Javon Evans walks off. AAA General Manager Rey Mysterio walks up to Penta and puts him over for representing Lucha Libre. Penta puts Rey Mysterio over and says he loved to one day face Rey Mysterio with the title on the line. Penta will talk to Raw General Manager Adam Pearce. Rey Mysterio is excited. The Judgment Day heads to the ring. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez will be in action next. So we'll go to commercial break. Replay last week on Raw. Screamo beat the Judgment Day to retain the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions after the match. The Judgment Day beat them down until Bayley and Lyra Kira made the save. So we get the second match. So we get a tag team match. The Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, accompanied by AAA Mega Champion Dirty Dominic Mysterio and the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan versus Bayley and Lyra Kira. Now this tag team match, I ain't even gonna lie to you. This was a fun tag team match. The Judgment Day attacks Lyra Kira and Bayley before the match begins. Bayley and Lyra Kira soon fights back. Bayley and Raquel Rodriguez rolls out of the ring. The bell rings to start the match. Lyra Kira hits a scoop slam on Roxanne Perez. Bayley tags in and hits a running back elbow. Lyra Kira tags in and kicks Roxanne Perez in the rails for a 1 count. Roxanne Perez quickly takes Lyra Kira down and tags Raquel Rodriguez in. Bayley and Lyra Kira quickly take it to Raquel Rodriguez with frequent tags. They send her into the ropes, but she hits them with a running cross body block. Take them both out. Raquel Rodriguez takes it to Lyra Kira and elbows away at her in the corner. Raquel Rodriguez sends her to the corner, but Lyra Kira slingshots over her. Raquel Rodriguez quickly cuts her off and hits a flapjack onto the top turnbuckle. Raquel Rodriguez shoves Lyra Kira into the corner and digs her shin into Lyra Kira's neck. Roxanne Perez gets some cheap shots in as the referee deals with Bayley. Raquel Rodriguez hits a slingshot elbow drop as we go to commercial break. So we go to commercial break. We're back from the break. Lyra Kira pulls the top rope to get Raquel Rodriguez out of the ring. Raquel Rodriguez quickly gets up and pulls Lyra Kira out of the ring. Raquel Rodriguez lifts her, but Lyra Kira slides off and drives her into the ring post. Lyra Kira kicks Roxanne Perez away and tags Bayley in. Bayley hits a suicide dive on Raquel Rodriguez and gets her in the ring for a big elbow drop to pick up a 2 count. Bayley goes for a sunset flip bomb into the turnbuckle, but Raquel Rodriguez fights it. Roxanne Perez tags in and goes for a pop rock, but Bayley fights out and hits a slinging back suplex. Bayley hits a sunset flip bomb into the turnbuckles. Lyra Kira tags in Bayley and lifts Roxanne Perez, and Lyra Kira hits a blockbuster. Lyra Kira covers 1-2. Liv Morgan puts Roxanne Perez foot on the bottom rope. The referee ejects Liv Morgan from ringside. Bayley attacks Liv Morgan, so Raquel Rodriguez wipes her out. Lyra Kira takes out Raquel Rodriguez. Roxanne Perez attacks Lyra Kira and goes for a pop rock, but Lyra Kira kicks her down. Liv Morgan says something to Dominic Mysterio as she heads to the back. Bayley tags in and Dominic Mysterio jumps on the apron. Raquel Rodriguez used the distraction to knock Bayley off the top rope. Roxanne Perez hits pop rock for a near fall. Raquel Rodriguez goes for a power bomb on Lyra Kira, but Lyra Kira countered with a Hurricanrana over the top rope. Dominic Mysterio gets on the ring on the apron and tosses the AAA Mega Champion belt, Mega Championship to Roxanne Perez. Bayley and Roxanne Perez get into a tug of war over the title as Dominic Mysterio argue with the referee. Roxanne Perez pulls it away, but she accidentally hits Dominic Mysterio in the head with the title. Bayley rolls Roxanne Perez up for the win. The winner of the match, Bayley and Lyra Kira. This was a fun tag team match to watch. All right, let's move on. Excuse me. Let's move on. So the winner of the match, by pinfall, Bayley and Lyra Kira. So yeah, this was a fun match for what it was. So yeah, and let's move on. Well, hold on, give me a minute. Yeah, so Bayley and Lyra Kira won that tag team match. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. That was a good match. Well, pretty good. That was a fun tag team match between Lyra, Kira, and Bayley. So yeah, let's move on. It says it right here. It says an OK tag team match with Bayley and Lyra, Kira. Yeah, an OK tag team match with Bayley and Lyra, Kira going over the Judgment Day. It seems like these two teams are spinning their tires. Liv Morgan hasn't done much of anything as a women's champion since winning at WrestleMania, more than a little disappointing. Hashtag WWE Raw, which is I agree with that. Video package last week on Raw, World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns and the Usos twerk and attacked by Jacob Fatu and laid the Samoan Werewolf out. Jacob Fatu then challenged Roman Reigns to a tribal combat match, which was accepted. Excuse me. Roman Reigns locker room. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce is pleading with World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns to let him fire Jacob Fatu. Roman Reigns says Jacob Fatu keeps pulling Ace out of his sleeve. Jacob Fatu knew Roman Reigns would have to accept the tribal combat match as the tribal chief. There have to be consequences in that contract. If Jacob were to lose, he has to serve him, or Adam Pearce will get his way. If Jacob were to beats him, he wishes Adam Pearce luck because they're all screwed. We have a contract signing with Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu later tonight. Backstage segment. LA Knight is walking backstage. We'll see him in a little while. Michael Cole thanks all those who have made the ultimate sacrifice so they can put on a show like this tonight and celebrate their freedoms. Video package. WWE pays tribute to all who have served and given their lives in pursuit of freedom. So we go to commercial break. By the way, happy Memorial Day to everybody. But anyway, video package. Earlier today, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, and Bayley visited the National Veterans Memorial and Museum. So LA Knight addresses the Columbus crowd. LA Knight is in the ring and gets a nice ovation. LA Knight says it's been a while since WrestleMania that he stood before them in the ring. LA Knight stops and wishes everyone a happy Memorial Day. LA Knight says the King and Queen of the Ring tournament starts next week, so he's throwing his name in the hat. When he wins and gets a title shot, he'll face Roman Reigns. Where does that puts Jimmy and Jey Uso? Roman Reigns is the most corrupted champion he's ever seen. Jimmy Uso heads to the ring and he doesn't look pleased. Jimmy Uso says he has a lot of respect for LA Knight. Jimmy Uso fought side by side with LA Knight at WrestleMania. LA Knight says he did against the Vision, but it's not the same now. LA Knight has been a victim of the bloodline. Jimmy Uso gets it and says everyone in the locker room has a problem with the bloodline. They did what they had to do, and it was ugly. But they're not that way anymore. If LA Knight wins the King of the Ring tournament, he'll have a fair shot at the OTC. LA Knight asks if Jimmy Uso is being honest with himself. Jimmy Uso is coming out here as third fiddle to Roman Reigns. LA Knight doesn't want to see him because Roman Reigns Air Boy again. Jimmy Uso says this is LA Knight's warning shot. He's lucky his brother isn't here tonight. LA Knight says Jimmy Uso is talking about a 2-on-1 attack. Maybe Roman Reigns will come out and make it a 3-on-1 as they did Jacob Fatu. Jimmy Uso says that's family business. If LA Knight has a problem with that, his family will become LA Knight's problem. LA Knight says he likes Jimmy Uso. Roman Reigns can't get the job done on his own. He needed Paul Heyman, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso. If the family business becomes LA Knight's business, he'll make sure they'll go out of business. Yeah, and LA Knight walks off. A pretty cool segment with LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. There are some branches of the story of the storyline with the bloodline that people are losing interest in. They teased and teased LA Knight for years and never delivered. He's close to where Dolph Ziggler was years ago. Hashtag WWE. Backstage segment: Raw General Manager Adam Pearce is talking with Triple H General Manager Rey Mysterio. All Ego Ethan Page comes up and isn't happy that Javon Evans got a free Intercontinental Championship match. Now he's taking another. Now he's talking with another general manager about a title shot. Ethan Page asks what Mysterio did to earn the title. Adam Pearce says Rey Mysterio is WWE Hall of Famer. Russo walks up and asks what is going on. Ethan Page says Rey Mysterio is conspiring against Rusev and trying to jump him in line. Rusev isn't happy. Ethan Page tells Adam Pearce to make Rey Mysterio earn it. Rey Mysterio says he'll face Rusev to earn a title shot. Adam Pearce makes it official for tonight. Rusev and Rey Mysterio walks up. Rusev and Page walks up. I'm sorry. Seth Rollins makes his entrance. He'll face Montez Ford next. Alright, so we go to commercial break. So we get the next match. So we get Seth Rollins versus Montez Ford. This match was fantastic for what it was. And I enjoyed this match for what it was. This match was fantastic, and I enjoyed this match for what it was. They lock up and start shoving each other. They hit ropes. They hit the ropes, and Seth Rollins runs Montez Ford over with the shoulder tackle. Montez Ford soon hooks inside headlock, so Seth Rollins shoves him off. Montez Ford slingshots over him and leapfrogs Seth Rollins before hitting a shoulder tackle. Seth Rollins gets up and shoves Montez Ford. Montez Ford shoves him back. Seth Rollins sweeps his feet and punches away at him. Montez Ford turns Seth Rollins over and punches away at him. Seth Rollins quickly boots Montez Ford in the head, knocking him out of the ring. Seth Rollins hits a suicide dive and hits the ring and gets in the ring. Montez Ford follows him and clotheslines him over the top rope. Montez Ford then hits Seth Rollins with a suicide dive. Montez Ford gets in the ring, but Seth Rollins hits him and follows him in. They take each other out with Stereo running crossbody blocks. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Seth Rollins and Montez Ford are exchanging punches from their knees. Seth Rollins rocks him with a chop to the chest. Montez Ford vicious chops him back. They trade more strikes before Montez Ford knees him in the midsection. Seth Rollins answers back with some forearms. Montez Ford quickly clubs his spine. So Seth Rollins goes for a pedigree. Montez Ford gets out of it and hits a clothesline. Seth Rollins rolls to avoid a standing moonsault. Montez Ford flips through and back suplex and hits a step up enziguri. Montez Ford gets to his feet and charge, but Seth Rollins drops him on the apron. Montez Ford knocks him back and goes to the top rope. But Seth Rollins scales the ropes and hits a superplex before floating through into a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. The crowd chants, "This is awesome." Seth Rollins gets to his feet and sets up for a pedigree. Montez Ford counters with a back body drop and sits on his shoulders for a 2 count. They trade cradles for two counts before Montez Ford kicks him in the face. Montez Ford hits the ropes, but Seth Rollins stunts him with a super kick. Seth Rollins hits the ropes, but Montez Ford follows him in. Seth Rollins goes for a slam, but Montez Ford gets out. Montez Ford gets him in a torture rack and goes for a bomb, but Seth Rollins lands on his feet and hits a pedigree 1-2. Montez Ford barely kicks out. Seth Rollins sits near Montez Ford and says that if they work together, they don't have to fight. They want the same thing. Seth Rollins asks Montez Ford is hearing him. Montez Ford answers by slapping him in the face. Seth Rollins is viciously Seth Rollins is furious and hits him with a buckle bomb. Seth Rollins grabs him for a second buckle bomb, and Seth Rollins sets up for a third buckle bomb. But Montez Ford counters with a hurricanrana that sends him out of the ring. Montez Ford backs up and dives over the ring post with a somersault senton on the Visionary. Montez Ford climbs the top rope, so Seth Rollins tries to cut him off. Montez Ford knocks Seth Rollins away and hits a fall splash. 1-2, Seth Rollins kicks out. The crowd continues to chant that this match is awesome. Montez Ford looks down at Seth Rollins and heads back to the top rope. Montez Ford gets down and kicks Seth Rollins in the head before he can attack. Montez Ford goes for a 450 splash, but Seth Rollins moves out of the way. Seth Rollins immediately follows up with a stomp and puts an arm over Montez Ford for the win. The winner by pinfall, Seth Rollins. This match was fantastic from the beginning towards the end, and I enjoyed this match. Austin Theory knocks Angelo Dawkins out onto the stage and smashes him several times with a steel chair. Austin Theory hits Angelo Dawkins on the head as he lies on the floor, but the camera shows he's missed by a mile. While general manager Adam Pearce runs out with the officials and admires Austin Theory, Austin Theory walks off and smirks. But if I was Angelo Dawkins, I would get so if I was Angelo Dawkins, I would get my get back on Austin Theory. So, like I said, as soon as Angelo Dawkins makes his speedy recovery, Angelo Dawkins is going to get his get back on Austin Theory. I can definitely see it. I can definitely see that happening. So, we go to commercial break. Replay highlights are shown from the Seth Rollins versus Montez Ford match. After the match, Austin Theory attacked Angelo Dawkins with a steel chair. They show the same clip of the chair missing his head. Backstage segment. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce is outside the trainer's office. Montez Ford wants to know how Dawkins is doing. Seth Rollins runs over and asks about Dawkins. Montez Ford says they got bigger fish to fry. With his brother out, they need to work together. Montez Ford goes into the trainer's office. Seth Rollins tells Adam Pearce that this needs to end. He needs to cut the heads off the snake. He wants Braun Breaker as soon as he can. Commercial break. I'm not commercial break. I'm sorry. The commentators talk about this weekend's event and run down the WWE Clash in Italy card. Backstage interview. Kathy Kelly is backstage with the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch. Some people may be impressed with Saruka kicks and flicks, but she hasn't won anything yet. Saruka's name is written in sand, but the tide is coming. Becky Lynch's name is written in the stone. There is a difference between striving for greatness and standing across from it. Welcome to the big time. But like I said, Saruka has to win that Clash at Italy. So Saruka needs to be Becky Lynch for the women's Intercontinental Champion, and I hope Saruka wins the WWE Intercontinental Champion. But I hope AJ Lee will show up at Clash at Italy, because the rivalry between AJ Lee and Becky Lynch is far from over. But I hope AJ Lee will show up at Clash at Italy. But let me move on. WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio heads to the ring. He'll face Rusev next. Commercial break. All Ego Ethan Page will be on commentary for the next match. And speaking of that, why did you change Ethan Page's theme song? Change it right back to his old theme song. And WWE, you were wrong for changing Ethan Page's theme song. Change it right back to his normal theme song. I want to hear that ego. That's it. That was the best part of the song. But change it back to his old theme song. Anyway, let me continue. No more contenders match. Rey Mysterio versus Rusev. This was a decent match for what it was. The winner of this match was face Penta for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Rusev steps up to Rey Mysterio. They lock up, and Rusev easily shoves Rey Mysterio down before taunting the crowd. Rey Mysterio sidesteps Rusev and slaps him on the back. Rusev chases Rey Mysterio around. Rey Mysterio slings around the opening. Slings around the ropes, and Rusev flies out of the ring. Rusev angrily gets in the ring, and Rey Mysterio slaps him in the face. Rusev chased Rey Mysterio around the ringside area and back inside the ring. Rey Mysterio hits a head scissor takeover into the ropes and goes for the 619. But Rusev pops up and elbows him down. Rusev hits a pair of gut wrench suplex. Rusev uppercuts Rey Mysterio down, knocking him to the apron. Rusev lifts Rey Mysterio on the apron, but Rey Mysterio elbows off and kicks him in the head. Rey Mysterio knocks him to the floor and slides out of the ring into a sunset flip bomb into a barricade. Rey Mysterio gets back on the apron and goes for a flying hurricanrana, but Rusev holds him up and slings him into the barricade. Rusev pose. So we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Rusev shows Rey Mysterio stunner first into the turnbuckles. Rusev puts Rey Mysterio on the top rope and punches him. Rusev climbs the top rope for a superplex, but Rey Mysterio fights him off. Rey Mysterio hits a flying seated senton, followed by a head scissors takeover. Rey Mysterio shoulders him in the corner and climbs to the middle rope for a 10 punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rusev lifts Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio rolls through for a roll up. Rusev goes for a cannonball, but Rey Mysterio moves. Rey Mysterio hits a running basement seated senton, followed by a lion salt for a near fall. Rusev tries to catch Rey Mysterio flying, but Rey Mysterio catches him with a wheelbarrow bulldog. Rey Mysterio goes for a springboard crossbody block, but Rusev catches him and hits a swinging sidewalk slam. Rusev follows up with a Machka kick for a near fall. Rusev sets up for an accolade, but Rey Mysterio gets out of it. Rusev tries to throw him to the apron, but Rey Mysterio hits a 619 to the midsection. Rey Mysterio goes for a traditional 619, but Rusev catches him. Rusev takes him down and goes for the accolade, but Rey Mysterio counters with a roll-up for the win. The winner of the match, Rey Mysterio. This was a decent match between Rey Mysterio and Rusev. Rusev angrily attacks Rey Mysterio after the match. Dragon Lee runs down for the save. Ethan Page gets up from the commentary, but Dragon Lee quickly torques his attack. Dragon Lee connects with the head scissors takeover, sending Ethan Page into Rusev. Dragon Lee kicks Ethan Page and knocks Rusev into the ropes. Dragon Lee hits a somersault plancha onto Ethan Page, and Rey Mysterio hits Rusev with a 619. Dragon Lee gets in the ring and drops Rusev with the Operation Dragon. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee stand tall. Alright, let's move on. Backstage segment. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce is admonishing Austin Theory as Logan Paul. As Paul Heyman watches in the background. Adam Pearce says Austin Theory night is over after what he did tonight. Austin Theory asks if it was enough after what happened to Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. Paul Heyman says he personally take care of this because Austin Theory is out of line. Paul Heyman whispered to Austin Theory that Adam Pearce is an idiot. Austin Theory stops and looks over at Maxine Dupree, who is standing with Otis and Akira Tozawa. Austin Theory has been seen talking with Maxine Dupree over the past few weeks. Otis says this smells like bad news, but Maxine Dupree says he's just under a lot of pressure. She says she'll catch up with them later and walks out. Does this mean that Maxine Dupree is going to join the Vision? But we have to see. Because they teasing that Maxine Dupree joining the Vision, but who knows? Anyway, video package: Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi Part 2. The ring is set up for a contract signing. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce is already in the ring. Jacob Fatu heads to the ring. Commercial break. Contract signing for the WWE Clash in Italy. Now this was a good closing segment right here. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce is in the ring with Jacob Fatu. Adam Pearce says the two signatures made tribal combat official. Jacob Fatu takes the contract and signs it, and OTC champ fires up. Jacob Fatu infuriates and throws a chair at the big security force standing in the alleyway. Jacob Fatu then throws the table at them. The security force steps into the ring and stops Jacob Fatu from causing further damage. Excuse me, I was drinking water anyway. But let me continue. World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns heads to the ring. The security force keeps Jacob Fatu back as Roman Reigns gets in the ring. The crowd chants "Happy Birthday" at Roman Reigns, who turns 41 today. And Roman Reigns looks over at Jacob Fatu and says, "Leave us." Adam Pearce asks wherever it would be better for them to stay and make sure Jacob Fatu doesn't do anything before a clash in Italy. Roman Reigns says Jacob Fatu signs a contract and made a bloodbath. Jacob Fatu won't touch him before their match. Adam Pearce and the security force leave. Roman Reigns says, "Columbus, Ohio, acknowledge me." The crowd roars, but there are some boos in there. An OTC champ picks up. Roman Reigns asks if Jacob Fatu sees how simple that was. All Jacob Fatu has to do was acknowledge him. Roman Reigns beat him at Backlash. All Jacob Fatu has to do was acknowledge him, and they could move on to the next mission. Jacob Fatu asks if he's supposed to acknowledge Roman Reigns like everyone else here. Jacob Fatu says no. She says no. Jacob Fatu says he's not like everyone else. Roman Reigns is the reason why their family is living the life they have. Roman Reigns is the reason their family is at the top of the mountain and was taken to the promised land. Roman Reigns could only take them so far. It's time for a change and another destination. When it comes to acknowledgement and the code of the bloodline, did Roman Reigns honor that code or bend the rules to be Jacob Fatu? Jacob Fatu gets that Roman Reigns did what he had to do to get what was necessary. Jacob Fatu says in tribal combat he'll dog walk your you know what. When Jacob Fatu takes over, everyone will have consequences. Roman Reigns says if Jacob Fatu wants to talk about consequences, he'll talk. He's a man of his word. If Jacob Fatu beats him, Jacob Fatu is the head of the table. Jacob Fatu will lead, and he will follow. If Jacob Fatu can dog walk him, then Roman Reigns will walk Jacob Fatu like a dog. Roman Reigns will Roman Reigns will domesticate him. If Jacob Fatu can't beat Roman Reigns, he will serve and learn from him. In time, Jacob Fatu will love his tribal chief. Jacob Fatu says, "Okay, yeah, well, it looks like a win for me. It looks like a win-win for me, Roman. If Roman Reigns don't walk his, you know what, then he'll still have a job here. When Jacob Fatu dog walks Roman Reigns, everybody, especially Roman, will learn how to acknowledge him." Jacob Fatu asks, "Yeah, that I mean?" Then locks hands and press their heads together. And WWE Raw goes off the air. Let me read you guys quick match results. Penta defeated Javon Evans to retain the WWE Intercontinental Championship, which was a good match. Bayley and Lyra Kira defeated the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez in a fun tag team match. Seth Rollins defeated Montez Ford, which is a good match, and Rey Mysterio defeated Rusev in a decent match. And WWE Raw goes off the air. Alright, let me give my honest opinion what I think about WWE Raw. Now WWE Raw was a decent was a good show for what it was, and I give it a 7 out of 10. But I got this bad feeling that Drew McIntyre is going to cause shakeup Fatu at Clash in Italy. Since we haven't seen Drew McIntyre we haven't even seen Drew McIntyre since. But I got this bad feeling that Drew McIntyre is going to cause shakeup Fatu at Clash in Italy. So anyway, WWE Raw was a good show for what it was, and I give it a 7 out of 10. If you guys enjoyed my WWE Raw review on highlights, make sure you guys please watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning or towards the end. If you are new here, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more Western content, because I'm on the road to 11K before July. Follow all my social media down below in the description. Go check out my WWE Saturday Night's Main Event review and highlights, and also go check out my AEW Double or Nothing review and highlights that I did on the channel yesterday, because AEW Double or Nothing was a good show, and it was way better than Saturday Night's Main Event. Take it how y'all want to take it, and that's just my opinion. But anyway, I would have a world premiere tonight for my WWE Raw review and highlights. I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Bullet Squad, Too Sweet. I'm out of here, gang. Mwah. Bang, Too Sweet, gang. And I'll see you guys live on Twitch for some Fortnite. So make sure you guys be there so I can hit my 500 followers over there on Twitch. So stay Too Sweet, and I'm out of here, gang. Mwah. Bang, Too Sweet, gang.